nation's leader taking a look at operations on the Lucaya Strip. The government giving its position on the Emera proposition to purchase Bahamian shares. And where the officials are watching the weather this weekend.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Megan Shepard. It's so great to have you with us. Topping news tonight, the nation's leader on Grand Bahama today for his regular visit. The Prime Minister taking time out to get a feel of what's happening on the island's tourism sector. He began with a tour of Port Lucaya Marketplace, where he was able to hear the concerns of business owners and straw vendors in that once popular shopping center. Kimberly Mullings was there.
Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis thought it essential to visit the Port Lucaya Marketplace during his monthly visit to Grand Bahama, admitting that the marketplace is not the one that he was accustomed to back in the day because of the lack of traffic of tourists, even though 2 cruise ships are in port. He used the opportunity to speak with vendors and store owners to see, touch, and feel the issues that they are faced with daily, and found their plight most significant.
Problems with paying light, water, etc., because there are no tourists coming through the marketplace. But they all agreed that the opening of the hotel would make a great impact and would turn things around for them.
Prime Minister Minnis noting that he has heard the noise in the market about the government's bid to purchase the hotel, but knows that the immediate and long-term benefits are worth the investment.
I agree that government should not be involved in hotel, but the question you must ask, if that hotel is closing down, and that is the catalyst for the survival of this marketplace, that is the catalyst for the survival of bus drivers, the catalyst for the survival of taxi drivers, can anyone in their right mind sit down and allow that to falter or fail? Even those who are against us would agree that that's the proper thing to do.
Vendor Lorenzo McKenzie was thrilled that a Prime Minister actually visited the marketplace and commended Minnis.
As you can see out here, it's crazy. It's crazy, terrible.
What the problems are.
And it's been here for a little while. Yeah, not just challenges. When you can't pay your mortgage, when you can't pay your light bill, when you can't pay your water bill. And I'm a pastor, and people come to me every day, and they telling me they can't feed their children. That's what hurts the most. So we need help in Grand Bahama.
Vendors Beverly and Dorothy Pratt were also pleased to see the Prime Minister. They are hopeful that he would bring about some relief to Port Lucaya.
I do appreciate the Prime Minister taking the time out to visit us in Grand Bahama to see what's going on in the marketplace and to see how best he could help us.
I feel great that he has come, and I feel great, and I know that he will try his best to do something to bring more uplift to the area and open the hotel.
The Prime Minister says he was pleased with the warm welcome of the vendors and understands the urgency of rendering assistance to those who rely on the marketplace.
You have a better appreciation for the pain and suffering that they're going through, as opposed to just reading it in the paper. When you speak to individuals and you look in their face, you can see the pain, you can see the torture, you can feel it, so you have a better appreciation.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNAS Network News.
Now, from the Port Lucaya Marketplace, the nation's leader and his delegation moved to the other side of the Lucaya Strip, where they toured the Grand Lucayan Hotel property. It is no secret that residents on Grand Bahama have been crying out for the reopening of hotels on the Lucaya Strip. Many believe that the tourism industry is suffering because these major resorts are closed for business, and this lack of activity is causing a trickling effect on other businesses on the island. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis says that he is well aware of the economic climate on the island, and that is why his government was moved to put forth a proposal to purchase the hotels on the Strip.
We think it's essential to save the economy of Grand Bahama. But before we purchased the hotel, thought of the proposals, and we wanted a tour. And we looked at the hotel, and memories, which comprise of over 400 rooms, is in very good condition, minimal damage, and I think we would have to do minimal work to get that going. That will have great impact in the survival of the marketplace, the bus tours, the taxis, and Grand Bahama, which would subsequently have great impact on the negative impact on the remainder of the Bahamas, New Providence, Abaco, etc.
The nation's leader says that they are moving as swiftly as possible to make the reopening a reality.
We have submitted a proposal, and they have responded, and we've now referred their communication to our Attorney General, and therefore everything would now be in the lawyer's hands so that we can work out something. But we would have that done as quickly as possible, because as I pointed out earlier, Memories has minimal damage, and therefore we would think that that hotel would be functional very, very soon. It'll take more work. Breakers Key. That would take more work.
He also notes that at this time, the opening of the casino is not a top priority.
One step at a time. Right now I'm trying to save jobs. I'm trying to save an economy. I'm not concerned about gambling right now. All right? Right now Grand Bahamas has been suffering from the early 90s, and I want to relieve that pain and that suffering at this particular time.
Now, the Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, also emphasizing the importance of reopening hotels on the Lucaya Strip.
One of the things that we have to do is to work as hard as we can to get this property back up and running. It is important for not just for the tourism aspect, but it is also important for the rest of the island to be able to benefit from making sure that this place and this hotel is open.
After getting a view of the Grand Luhaian property and Port Lucaya Marketplace, the Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis, noting that more must be done to boost the industry. He did announce some good news for the cruise industry.
Already gotten a commitment that Celebration will be sailing back into Grand Bahama starting December, and then April of next year Celebration will have another vessel on stream, so that'll be 2 vessels. So it's essential that we have the rooms to accommodate Celebration, and that's why we would concentrate on Memories and Lighthouse. So we would have an room inventory of approximately 700 rooms, and we think that would suffice at this particular time, but that would keep the Grand Bahamas economy very, very functional. But we have other things that we're looking at.
Now, the government is stating its position regarding Emera's proposition to purchase 100% of shares in the Grand Bahama Power Company. Earlier this week, prominent attorney Fred Smith QC called on the government to intervene in the best interest of Bahamian shareholders. He says he doesn't want to sell his shares and he shouldn't be forced to do so. We spoke with Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, who says right now it's all about due process and assures that the government will act in the best interest of the Grand Bahama community.
The matter is being reviewed by all of the relevant government agencies, as well as the matter is being carefully reviewed by the Attorney General's office. And so there has been no final decision that has been made. The Cabinet of the Bahamas is going to give a final decision on the matter very shortly. And so we want to allow we want the public to allow the government to do its due diligence, to make all of the necessary checks. They should be fully comforted that the government is not going to make any decision that is going to adversely affect the public.
The Chamber of Commerce giving its position on the latest move by the government to repeal the Grand Bahama Port Authority Investment and Incentives Act of 2016. The government of the Bahamas had promised the people of Grand Bahama that they would repeal and replace that act, and the bill had its first reading in the House of Parliament last week. Chamber President Mick Holding says the business community on island welcomes this change.
The bill addresses the major concern of Chamber of Commerce members and business licensees in general, in that it grants the 20-year extension to all licensees of the Grand Bahama Port Authority and all homeowners within the port area. This will be a very welcome thing for all businesses on Grand Bahama, in the fact that it now gives them the security and certainty to develop their businesses for the next 20 years.
He notes that this bill offers another important component when it comes to doing business in the Bahamas and more importantly here on Grants Bahama.
The bill introduces a Port Area Investment Board, which will be comprised of 5 members nominated by the Prime Minister, 3 members nominated by the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and 2 members nominated by the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. As I say again, this is a very welcome move in that decisions on business licenses will now be made in Grand Bahama by people that understand the requirements of the island and understand the business environment.
Tonight, forecasters are carefully monitoring a broad area of showers and thunderstorms in the western Caribbean Sea that is moving slowly northward. Forecasters say conditions are favorable for development. In fact, there is an 80% chance of the system developing into a tropical depression or tropical storm. Deputy Director of the Met Department, Trevor Baston, on Grants Bahama today, advising residents to expect a wet and windy weekend.
Now, this system was expected to move towards the north, but however, in the atmosphere we have something called phasing, and now that a cold front is moving down from South Florida into the Bahamas, well, these low pressure systems would move towards the cold front, and so instead of continuing north, it is expected to move towards the northeast. So what we are looking at now is the possibility of a tropical depression or tropical storm watch being issued for the northwest and central Bahamas later this afternoon or this evening.
The system is expected to move over Cuba and weaken a bit, but Baston says that based on current projections, the system will still have an impact in the northern Bahamas.
So regardless of its further development, heavy rains and windy conditions are expected no matter what over the central and northwest Bahamas from Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and through Sunday. So the system will move rather rapidly through the Bahamas. So by Sunday at about 8 p.m., its center would have been to the east of Abaco. So that is what we are looking forward to.
Stay with us, the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition continues in just a moment.